So it's a Wednesday evening and time for another Wardy's Waffle. Hope you're all having a decent time, and the weather that you've wanted, we've wanted a bit of rain, and yesterday we got 8mm of rain, not quite enough. You can't really believe that for the last few weeks we've been wanting no rain at all, and all of a sudden when we get the crops in the ground we want some rain. It's always like this. I don't really know what happens to the soil when it gets a huge lot of rain like it's had over the last few months. But the minute you move it, it seems to dry out and needs regular rain to keep the crops growing. Anyway, you'll see this Maschio Despado Paraharrow behind me. Thank you very much for coming and letting us try this on some of our fields this year. It's been a revelation, and we haven't used a Paraharrow for over 20 years. But I don't mind admitting I've eaten more humble pie over the last few weeks because of this fantastic Paraharrow. But thank you, Maschio, it's been absolutely brilliant. So in this update, we're looking at the beck that Barry cleaned out. I'm just going to have a walk along there and just see how it's progressing. He did that a few months ago. Also, we are putting some nitrogen on the sugar beet and the beans, the Capulet beans that we're going to be planting in the next 2 weeks, something like that, 10 days. So we put some nitrogen on there and we'll take a look at that. Anyway, that's enough for me for the intro. Let's crack on with this update and we'll see you at the end, and thanks for watching. Just noticed we've got some more goslings. Here's the 7 here that we've had for 3 weeks or so, but then just at the back there's 5 more that were only born probably yesterday. Let's see if I can get anywhere near them. These ones are wading in. They're quite tame now, these big ones are. There we go. They're the recent ones.
Hello Andrew, just giving you a quick update on what's going on down here at Tattershall. As you can see, we're very slowly progressing, but over the last few weeks since we last spoke, we have received a lot more phone calls from the Environment Agency, lots of different managers ringing us up, all telling me the same thing, that they're lacking in funds. But yeah, we are moving slowly. We have got 500 tonne of clay on site now, and they are slowly bringing it down, and they're expecting to be 5 weeks doing this job now, and they've already had 1 week, and that's as far as we've got. So yeah, things are moving, but very slowly. It's just taking its time.
Can't hardly see them. It'll take a few days before I can get near to them. Here, these other ones, these are quite tame now. And they got used to Nala as well. Nala doesn't bother them, and they don't bother with Nala. For a feed. This is the trouble, they're always squabbling. Obviously they've got too near the young ones or something. No, because the young ones are under that feeder with mum and dad, and the other young ones are over there. It's Monday morning, lovely day. It's a bit cool, breezy but sunny, dry. Probably rain forecast tomorrow, which will do good on the sugar beet. Just at the beck where Barry did out with the long reach excavator 2 or 3 months ago now. I just want to show you some really interesting things looking on the curves and the bends of where the water is. So you can see it's more than a normal ditch or dike, but what is interesting, on the corners, there's a corner there, and when you look on the inside bend there, the deposits of stone and debris just there. So it's forcing the water out to this side here, you can see there. Then when you go along, there's another bend just up here, just where, oh, what's this? Oh, look, that's 2 pheasants here. That's, when you look at that, that's a hen pheasant's feathers. Yeah, that's it, Frankie. Looks like someone's got one of these, fox or something probably. So there's a hen pheasant being got there, and there's some more feathers here. This is a cock pheasant. feathers. So hen pheasant and a cock pheasant being done here. Anyway, yes, on this bend, you can see here, water's flowing round on the outside. On the inside bend, debris there, bit of gravel and silt and stuff. And then on this bend here, you can see again, same again. The water's deposit's being put on the inside of the bend, so the water's being forced on the outside going round. Really interesting how you see that happens. And just think what the main rivers are like, where they don't get any maintenance at all from the Environment Agency. This is why waterways must be done regularly. Listen to the wildlife. Actually, just talking about the wildlife, I don't know whether any of you saw, I was on GB News last week. The Daily Mail had put out a report to say that there's some people have left London and gone to live in the countryside, and after 6 months one couple went back to London because they found the countryside boring, nothing to do. I mean, when you look at this here, all the wildlife we have, all the birds that are singing, and they say the countryside is boring. Makes you laugh, really. Got the sprayer out, we're just changing the dribble bars on the boom to put the fertiliser on the sugar beet. We need some more nitrogen on the sugar beet, and you can see these ones, that's where the numbers are. So the higher the number, the more you put on. And so that's on the number 5 at the minute. So just to change that, you should be able to just, that's it, just pull them with your thumb. So that's all you do. So you just move that to a lower setting. We have a chart that tells us how many litres a hectare each number puts on. But we're going to be mixing water with this first lot of sugar beet, which I'll explain to you. And because we don't want it to harm the beet, we're putting it on in one go with the beets come through. So it wants to be on a fairly high setting. But that's how you change them. And then it just lets a different amount through the nozzle body, through up there. Tom's filling the Bowser. We're going to put this fertiliser, liquid nitrogen, onto the sugar beet. So Tom's just filling that. So we'll go up and catch some of that in a bit and show you what we're doing up there. That tractor's just got off the drag as well, but we might use that for rolling the beans in 10 days time, which so we'll leave the dual wheels on at the minute. So this is the field of beet. See there, the road's showing up really well now. And there's Reuben in the distance. And here we've got some SFI mixes, so Sustainable Farming Incentive, different crop mixes here to show on our open day on the 5th of June. Looks like there isn't much at this end one though. I think it is coming. Yes, it is. When you look at it, you can see there. It is starting to show there all the different crops. There will be some broadleaf weeds in there as well. So you can see down there on the ground, those lines, that is the dribble bars coming out of the sprayer, putting the nitrogen on. So just looking at the crop, you can see that is the sugar beet, but you can just see how the leaves are just slightly tickled up on the edge. That's the herbicide that's done that. So we have to be very careful with this nitrogen. You can see those looking a bit healthier. So we're putting on 100 kilograms a hectare of nitrogen, which is 256 litres a hectare, but because that strength of nitrogen on its own might damage the little sugar beet plants, we're actually mixing 100 litres a hectare of water with it. So the application rate is 356 litres a hectare, but as I say, 100 litres of that is water, so it's not quite so strong. The idea is that the rain, hopefully if we get some rain the next couple of days, it will wash that in. I've got Roseanne here from Warwick University, you'll recognise, and Lucy from Hertfordshire University, talking about beans and everything to do with growing of these Capulet beans, not the sugar beet that we're in at the minute. Wide tyres help here. So just looking down there, you can see the rows of sugar beet there, just to highlight the tram line I was mentioning in the video the other day. There is where the sprayers run. Well, there should be a row between there, but the drill has automatically switched it off to so the seed isn't there, so there's a saving in seed because that's where the sprayer runs all the time. So there's no point in putting the seed in because it's really expensive seed. It's £280 a unit, or which is just under a hectare, so it's about 2 acres worth of seed. So it doesn't put the seed in the ground there, and that's where the sprayer runs. The application sheet I've done on gatekeep, as you can see there. Sorry, I'm holding my phone with one hand and the sheet with the other, so I can't point, but you can see it says 5888 required. That's the amount of litres of fertiliser required. You see it, 256 litres a hectare. Then further up the line above, 356, that's because it's added 100 litres of water on. So total mix is 8188 required for this field. Here, you can see the rows there, and it's all mixed up in the bales already, so there's fertiliser and water mixed up ready, and that's going in the sprayer from the back there, going from the back, from the bowser here into the sprayer. And just to show, we had this done, so underneath there, that valve, we take that off when we finish fertiliser. There's one thing we ask houses to do, so that goes up through that nicely designed pipe top of the tank. So rather than have a little bit of flexor pipe there, house designed that for us, all linked in, lovely bit of alloy pipe there, and stainless pipe, rather, all linked through the boundary. So just looking into cabs quick. Nice cab, nice environment, and the seat is air conditioned as well as heated. There's the screen, it's got an iPad to control some of the sprayer functions, and then we've got the John Deere screen here which controls the actual steering and sort of application settings, but mainly the steering and everything that Green Star would normally do. And then Ruben's got it really cold in the cab here, 15 degrees, but it is a lovely sunny day outside. So we're applying 40 kilograms a hectare of nitrogen to the land that's coming the Capulet beans. This is the beans that will make baked beans, just to help kickstart them on the establishment. So we're applying it now, and then when we drill these crops, put the machine through it, it'll incorporate the nitrogen, and as soon as the roots put down, it'll grab hold of it straight away. Quite breezy today now, it's probably 12-14 miles an hour wind, but you can see with liquid nitrogen it's brilliant because it's still applying it really evenly, because it's not having to contend with the wind and spreading like a normal spreader would do. Ruben's just applying the nitrogen to the last field we've got of these Capulet beans. Got the A17 nearby, so we're growing a field, 45 acres this field, right on the main roadside, so some of you see these as you're driving past. And that's Leadenham Village in the background, and that's Lincoln Cliff Edge. Just a bit of an update on the nitrogen you've just seen us apply. We have now finished nitrogen on all situations, so the sugar beet here, such as this field behind me, I wanted to get that on now before any crops has come through, because it is quite late to be drilling beet. We only planted this last week, and I think the beet's going to be growing quickly, and it needs all the help it can get with nitrogen. So that's why we've given this in all of it now. Now the sugar beet down here didn't have any sewage sludge, which gives nitrogen, such as the heath did have. So this particular, all these 3 fields of sugar beet on the heavy land, we've given it 125 kilograms a hectare of nitrogen, which is 80 units an acre, or the equivalent of 34.5% nitrogen. So that's in old money. And the sugar beet on the heath, that has had sewage sludge, so that had 100 kilograms a hectare, which was the equivalent of 80 units an acre in old money. And now the beans that you've just seen us doing, the beans, we wanted to give them a bit of nitrogen to help them. We didn't give them any last year. These are the Capulet beans, the specialist beans that we're growing to make baked beans, and these didn't have any last year, but we've given them 40 kilograms a hectare, which is equivalent of 30 units an acre, and that's just to help establishment. And again, we've given that now before any hopefully expected rain in the next day or two, because again the beans want a real kickstart to get them to grow. So we've finished all the nitrogen applications now, so Ruben and Tom are going to give the sprayer a proper wash while it's still fresh on the sprayer and on the boom, and get that done tonight. It's Monday night. You can see nice weather we've got at the minute, but it's nice to get all the nitrogen done. But because of the fields that we haven't got any crops in, we would normally use about 9 tanks of fertilizer, and at the minute we had 3 filled up last summer, and we haven't emptied those 3, so that just shows that we've got a lot less crops in the ground. Yes, we haven't had to buy any more fertiliser, but I'll touch on that in a week or two's time, because there's quite a financial impact going to be because we haven't got any crops, or 20 odd fields, over 20 fields haven't got any crops in the ground. So I'm going to go in detail into this financial situation of the farm in the next week or two, because I think it's really important when we start to look at cash flow and where we're going to be in the next year or two.